Hi, hello, good afternoon. Um, Welcome to the online Zoom. Oh,
Hi, hello, good
I'll just
afternoon.
mute that one.
Um,
Welcome to the online Zoom meeting. Yeah, okay. So you're either watching this on YouTube or you can participate by following the Zoom link and joining me on Zoom. The link is in the chat, the YouTube chat. If you'd like to speak and ask any questions, then you can unmute on Zoom and speak, or you can unmute plus show your camera on Zoom, or you can write it in the chat on Zoom, or you can write it in the chat on YouTube. You can send questions prior to the stream, but it has to be really close to the stream for me to be able to, not too close and yet not too far behind. And you can do that through my email, which should be on my website or below the video here on YouTube. So I managed to find a spot to do my stream. It's actually a perfect spot that you wouldn't even, you walk by often and not notice how beautiful it is. So this is my new streaming spot that's close to the internet connection. There's no windows here, but it seems to be okay that the lighting from my artificial light seems to be enough. So yeah, it's a great little spot that I will now use. As for the timing, I'm still not sure what the best time is for the regular stream, so please bear with me as I play around with that and be a bit inconsistent with it. But I'm sure I'll get more of a consistency of time. But I will try to stick to Tuesday or Thursday, Tuesday and Thursday, depending upon my availability. I do one-to-ones as well, so trying to make sure I leave time to do the one-to-ones as well. So, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. So the talk today, the title is Inclusivity of Thought. Is it thinking? Thought, I think. Yeah, Inclusivity of Thought is the title. So just give me a minute or two to just collapse into that title. Speaking will come. This is a bit, keep rubbing my head on this leaf. I'll try and turn it a bit. And I can see it in the corner of my eye. Let's try this way. That's better. That's not too disruptive. Oops. Excuse me. I'm very professional start to the talk, but I can't help what comes up. Better. Oh, I feel clear now. I'll do a nose blow. A lot better. Okay. So that title, I could easily have, you could replace the word thoughts with the inclusivity of cough or the inclusivity of nose blowing. But that title feels very full. It's got a fullness to it, an inclusivity and a everythingness to it. So it feels very pleasant, that title. Just trying to lubricate the throat a little. Yeah, a really beautiful title, The Inclusivity of Thought. So what non-duality is speaking about is, and there are many ways to express this or explain this, but it's talking about a switching back to a switch that happens back to something that isn't a thing. So our true nature is called, or true being, emptiness. Consciousness. There are many ways to describe it. But what that what that reveals, or part of that revealing of that shift, is to reveal the the non-truth of thoughts about thinking faculty. And this is a radical, massive thing to become aware of, that thinking thoughts aren't true. Thoughts are not reality. So we say this is a hallway, this is a plant, this is the computer, these are glasses. We say these things, we label and think these things and speak these things. But in this revealing of something else, it's seen that these labels, these names, these thoughts, these ideas are movements appearing, are seeming form appearing. Sorry. So itch then. Itchy throat. A little tickle. So, in a way, that could sound like, and it even could be experienced as a separation or a detachment from thoughts. So you are detached, looking at, aware of thoughts. You are now able to judge thoughts or see thoughts. You're able to not get involved in thoughts. It can sound like that. And that maybe is part of the process of this. I think there are some teachings based upon that practice of sitting and not being drawn into thinking or into thoughts, watching them, observing them. But that would be, I would say, a practice or a stage of this. And so what inclusivity of thought is more pointing to isn't that. It's pointing to this shift or this disappearance of this center position, which we call I, me, you. And so with that disappearance of that center position, the observer of position, there is just thoughts, there is just what is happening, including thoughts. So it's really an expansive, what's being spoken about is really expansive rather than cutting off or a denial. It's or rejecting, separating off from things. It's an expansiveness, or a boundlessness, where there is no separation from those seeming things. They are wholeness. They are wholeness appearing as whatever it's appearing as a child, appearing as form, appearing as limitation. So this is what non-duality is. It's that expansion, it's that losing of this limitation of yourself as being a person, as being that center point, that center figure. And so for a while there may be this practice of rejecting thoughts, or this idea of perceiving them or being separate from them. Like not being affected by them. And that definitely has a place. It's beautiful. Like I'm not saying that. I am saying that, but at the same time, I'm also saying that there's nothing to be rejecting. There's nothing to stand separate from anything else. So while the mind may be splitting into two, one as the thought and one as the observer thought, it's still the mind split in two. And while that may be useful to have this separate position in the mind, observing other thoughts and trying to stay separate from them, that's ultimately not true. That position of being separate from them, knowing them, isn't true. It also needs to be dug up and exposed as not truth. Like this one mind managing. The only issue with being here is it's a bit drafty. I can feel a draft coming down the stairs. Can I not do this? Oh, it's better. When that gets cold. So this is the love affair. This really is the love affair. This merging with everything else, this collapsing of this position. got a blanket now. So we believe being in that position, being the manager of our life, of our circumstances, we believe by doing that, we will be protected and we will have comfort and be able to be free and happy. That actually isn't true. That actually isn't true. It seems to offer a level of comfort, a level of happiness, a level of ease, but it's not actually true. It kind of increases our discomfort, it increases our unease, it increases and supports the idea that there is a need to be in that position of controller. True comfort, true happiness, true freedom doesn't come from the human world or the human experience. Only pleasure and pain come from that. We can get seeming pleasure. We can get pleasure. We can get tastes of that, tastes of pleasure and joy and peace, but it's not substantial. It's not deep enough. It's not what we really long for. But because we get these small hits of it, these small hits of pleasure, these small hits of control and power and stuff, it can enforce the idea that it actually works, that experience of being in that dream position actually is beneficial, when it really isn't beneficial. The peace and the freedom and the joy and the love, the contentment, the rest is what is longed for, and it isn't found in the human experience. Although it feels like being human does afford us the opportunity to discover this. So being human isn't a bad thing. I'm trying to say it's a bad thing, or it's in the way of us experiencing this or knowing this. It's just identified as a human. You believe it's in that world of humanness. It's in the thinking, in the ideas, in the projections. But if anything, the human experience can be used, and probably is like yeah, it can be used, or it can be used to inquire into this, inquire into being human, inquire into what this is, where happiness, where joy, where freedom, where love is. As opposed to using it for only getting pleasure, avoiding pain. So yeah, this is not a subtracting of thought. It's an inclusion of everything, including thought. Hi Paul. Hey Kelly, I'm on Manchester bus watching and wondering if there's a noticing of lacking desire when the ego is thinning out, maybe. Wondering if there's a noticing of lacking desire. I seem to recall that happening a number of times, where there's a reduction of the desire to maybe do anything or follow the same things you used to follow, or be involved with certain people you used to be involved with. So I think it's a common thing to happen. But it's not a big thing. It's not like a thing that you can like the ego can take on board as like a big, not reward, but achievement. It can be painful as well at times, that lack of desire to follow maybe your old interests or your old ways of being. But there can still be desires. In a way, there's always desires, like the desire to go to the toilet, to blow your nose, to have a drink, to go and eat. I think in these teachings, the desire tends to be not so much those kinds of desires, those human desires of functioning, of preference, of enjoyment. It's more the stronger, the stronger seeking desires, where you're seeking the desire is imbued with this heavy, desperate seeking to find love, to find peace, to find home. That is what changes. So there can still be desire, not those that heavy craving, seeking desire. But yeah, it just tends to be a lack of desire when you're, excuse me, was cough and mute. If you'd like to speak in the Zoom, you can let me know by raising your hand or something, or if you wish to talk with your camera on, just be aware you're on YouTube as well, so you're free to either just unmute your microphone and speak, or to do both. Show your face and your voice as well. Or you're free to write in the Zoom chat as well. from jewelry, I think. I'm just saying hello. Oh, I've lost it. Chat. I'm just saying. Oh, what do you get? What do you get via sharing non-duality talk? Oh, so I've missed that one. Sorry. And Anand is saying, what do you get via sharing non-duality talk? What do you get? What do you mean? What do you get? As in listening to it, or do you mean? Oh, sorry, Jory. I'll just do it in order because Anand was. What do you get by sharing non-duality talk? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Could you expand on that? And Joy was saying, I'm just saying hello. Been watching you on YouTube when I get a chance. Oh, too much multitasking right now. Oh, okay. Appreciate you. Keep on doing it. Thank you, Joy. It means, do you get inspiration from somewhere which make you share it, like channeling inspiration from somewhere? Well, the most obvious thing that I would say is, well, the obvious thing is what happens. So it's part of the routine to do a non-duality talk. So it just seems to happen. There's a remembering that pops up saying, oh, today is the non-duality talk day. I prepare and yeah, the actions are aligned with that. But the obvious thing is as to why it is that there is a joy and a pleasure in this expression of non-duality. That there is love and a passion and a joy in expressing it. Yeah. I like your picture. Do you have any or many mentors in non-duality? Mentors in non-duality. Mentors. I mean, yeah, I've listened to quite a few, well, not quite a few, I've listened to a few non-duality speakers for many years. Yeah, you could call them mentors, I suppose, but I don't mentors, is it weird to call them mentors? But yeah, I guess you could call them mentors, but I definitely fell in love with this message. I was chatting to a friend recently about Eckhart Tolle, and when I first found the power of now, it felt like I'd found the biggest treasure ever. And then to meet him, not face to face, but meet him, go to one of his talks in London, it was like I was a groupie. Like I was like, oh my god! Rather than going to see a band or something, I was like, oh, this oldish, well, not old, but middle-aged-ish man hunched over, walking along the stage. I was like, oh my word! I was so happy to see him on the stage, and so yeah, I've had. I could say mentors, I suppose, people that I've listened to and learned from and resonated with and expanded by. Yeah. Like yeah. Like listening to it has helped to point back to something, reveal something, point out the illusion of something, the dream of something, point out what is consistent and what isn't. To dissolve into that. Excuse me. Do you have mentors, non-duality? I'm also learning by listening to many like you, Muji, Ramesh Balsika, etc., and Heartfulness. Oh, that's nice. Thanks to meet you. Yeah, nice to meet you too. Yeah. Yeah, it's really beautiful when you resonate. It's really beautiful. Okay, so there's no more questions. Sorry about the cough. it kind of was a lot during the stream, a lot of coughing, so I apologize for that. Although it obviously isn't my fault, but it's just it's the script you have to follow. But yeah, I'm sorry that it was I'm sorry that it was impacted, maybe. I couldn't always mute in time as well. Yeah, I've really enjoyed doing the stream, and appreciate people writing and joining on Zoom and writing in the chat on YouTube. Today's Thursday, right? Yeah, Thursday. So I shall be back next week. With the Zoom, and yeah, just that. Thank you, really. Thank you. Yeah, it's such a pleasure. So lots of love, and enjoy the festivities. Happy solstice as well. Happy winter solstice. Enjoy the festivities and the time off work if you're working, all the time to be with family. If you have family, all the time to eat nice foods and drink nice drinks, and yeah. Lots of love.